Thank you for joining us. I'm Michael Miller. We have two very special guests, Jennifer Cervera. Thank you very, very much for being here, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me.
And Gia Zapattini, right?
Thank you.
So today we're going to be talking about greater downtown Miami. We're going to be talking about a project you're working on, 1428 Brickell. Great name, right?
Thank you.
And then about Cervera, the organization. So Cervera's been changing Miami-Dade County for 50 years. So tell us what that's like for you, understanding about the family legacy in Miami-Dade County.
Well, I feel absolutely very privileged, number one, to be here today. So thank you for
Our pleasure.
inviting us. And I think it's going to be a very nice interview, hopefully. But Cervera Real Estate, I think, is really iconic in Miami. It has been, it was founded in 1969. And really, I think that we have changed the landscape. For instance, my mother-in-law, because I'm married into the family, my mother-in-law started the company in 1969, and she really got her big break when she wrote a letter to Harry Helmsley that owned a plot of land on Brickell Avenue, and they gave her the opportunity to represent them by selling this pre-construction project called the Palace. And that really, became history after that, because since then we have represented more than 100 pre-construction developments in Miami throughout many different neighborhoods with the best developers, and really creating these neighborhoods like south of 5th Street, Brickell, of course, as I just mentioned, and many, many neighborhoods. And of course, Cervera has really done a lot for the community. My mother-in-law, South Miami Avenue is named.
Did she work for Leona Helmsley, selling
She
condos
did.
in New York?
Yeah, well, here it was
And here, yeah.
It was here on Brickell Avenue
Yep.
that they bought this huge, piece of land, and they built a beautiful building, which is still there today. So that was really her first big break.
So do you feel the pressure of keeping this family name strong?
Oh, absolutely.
And so well, congratulations, because the next generation is counting on you and your
Thank
family.
you. Thank you.
And we have Gia Zapattini, the proud mother of Eleanor, who's in the other room over here. Eleanor is 3.5 months.
Yeah, 4.
So a little background. I went and looked up information about this lady. Let's see if I got it right. First of all, she jumped 200 times out of a perfectly good airplane. That's for starters. You went to, you have your Master's of Architecture from Kansas City. Then you spent another couple of years and you became in the interior product design. What is that?
So first I did a master's in interior architecture and product design, and then I did a master's in architecture. So they're very, just the scale in which you learn about architecture is very different. In interior design and product design, that you're looking at the human and how they use space or how they use products and their relationship to the user. And then architecture, it's more about zooming out and seeing the building as it relates to the city or to its neighbors or to the climate. So it's basically different scales of.
And a little birdie told me you also went to Harvard for the last couple months, and you got your executive master's degree from Harvard Business School.
Yes.
I'm not worthy. Good for you.
I agree.
That's wonderful. So, and as far as civic things you're involved in civically and professionally, are you on the board of one of the boards of the City of Miami?
Yes, I'm in the board of called the Urban Design Review Board, which is a very special board. It's a board that reviews all developments larger than 200,000 square feet in our city. So high rises, arenas, anything large.
When I'm sitting here with an architect and you and your family, and you look out 5, 10, 15 years, and that's how long this stuff takes before it gets built and people populate it and they move forward. What is it like to be able to say, we're going to do this, the people don't know it's going to be done yet, and we're going to present it in a year or two, starting with the idea, and then finding a partner who's going to partner with you of those. So what's it like for you and we're going to get to 1428 in a minute, well, what's it like?
Well, I could only, go by my example. And for instance, when I started my career in 1999, I started in a neighborhood called south of 5th Street in Miami Beach. Well, when I started, there was no buildings there, only one building. and a lot of homeless people, to be honest with you. And it was very hard for anybody to imagine buying there. And they're like, how are we going to buy here? Look at this neighborhood, what it looks like. It's terrible. So people really have to, I think, in real estate, put their vision caps on, because fast forward to today, south of 5th Street is one of the most expensive neighborhoods in Miami Beach. And people back then were buying them at around $200 a square foot. Today, you're looking at over $2,500 a square foot at a minimum. So it's really exciting what has happened. And yes, it takes some time, but you work with the right real estate company, the right developers, you really can, make a huge difference and transform neighborhoods.
And Gia, you're working on 1428?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So it's a luxury residential condominium located on Brickell Avenue. It's a very special development because we're targeting a very small amount of users. So we want to offer a lot of amenities, and Jen can walk you through a bunch of them and why you should really consider living there. But we thought about every single detail about really, really creating a home in the sky and offering to the Miami market something that we found that you don't have, especially on Brickell Avenue. There's a large number of units that are two-story houses, for example, and we designed them in a way of really thinking about every detail. Where would the mom sleep? Where would the dad work? What would be the journey within the house? How do we think about sunlight from sunrise to sunset as we start planning the units? Where do we want higher ceilings and lower ceilings? How do we want the circulation and the air movement and the lighting? We thought about all these details that typically are things that you consider in a home, and we decided to do that in a high rise. And the differentiator to me, and I think it's very important, is that there are very, very few projects in Miami where you have this level of thoughtfulness and attention to detail and really luxury. So a lot of people talk about luxury, but when you get to the actually built product and the execution, it's lacking in our city. So there's a lot of room for us to offer that to the market.
And I think we have some photographs. Let's talk about some of the significant features of the building that you like to tell people about because it's so significant.
There's so many. That's one of the things about the residences at 1428 Brickell. There's so many unique details and but I always describe our philosophy in 6 words, and that is nature, privacy, architecture, detail, craftsmanship, and innovation. And I really believe in that wholeheartedly for this building.
And one of the innovations is going to be some solar power. Tell us about that, Gia.
Yeah, so it's one of the few residential condominiums that's going to have part of the facade dedicated to absorbing sunlight and generating energy. So the lobby of the residential apartments would be supplemented, so you don't have to basically buy power from FPNL. You can use the power that you're collecting and putting it back into the use of the building. So
I read an article, maybe I saw it on Instagram, about the cost of that. It's a lot of money, a lot.
Everything
and you're investing that into
doing here. Yes, we really, I might be jumping the subject a little bit, but a lot of the times, realtors will ask us, this building is branded. Why did the developer decide not to brand this building? And of course he could have. Miami has become very trendy in that sense, where we are hiring and paying a brand to put their name on their buildings. We could have gone that route as well, and the developer really decided to put that money that you would normally pay for a brand back into the building. And that's why here you're going to have that solar backbone. That's why every residence is divided by solid concrete walls. No building in Miami usually does that. It's drywall. You could hear the noise next door. So not only do we diminish that noise factor, but most of our residences do not have columns. Minimum ceiling heights are 11 feet.
Did I read something? One of it's going to be over 20 feet, one of the ceilings? Or is
yes,
it 30
that's
feet?
one of our penthouses, yes, 30 feet.
30 feet. So how many floors is this?
2-story.
Yeah.
How many?
2 stories.
No, I'm sorry, I meant the building.
Oh, the building itself is 70 stories, but it'll feel even taller because minimum ceiling heights, for example, are 11 feet.
Oh,
Which is
Yeah.
very, if you put it in context of what's available in the city, it's very high.
Yes.
and this is what people want to know. What's the price range?
You are looking at a price range of 3.9 and up right now, and that 3.9 gives you almost a 2,400 square foot 2-bedroom townhouse. These residences come completely finished and with the best finishes in Miami. We can talk about that a little bit as well. And then we have, of course, our 3-bedroom flow-through residence, which is all on one floor. And then we have bigger residences. But the square footages range of what we have left from 2,400 square feet to 7,000 square feet. And then we have our big penthouses.
And people say, is it under construction yet? And what is the answer?
Of course, you can see it on Brickell Avenue. It's moving along. We are very, very excited. 2027 is when we're expecting.
And all the concrete below has already been poured, I understand?
Oh, yeah, we're on the second floor of construction.
That's
We are
amazing.
using Coastal Construction, which is one of the best construction companies in Miami, used to building luxury buildings. And we have our full construction loan through JP Morgan Chase, which I think says a lot about this developer. And really, that means we're full speed ahead at this point.
Who are the people that are going to move into there?
Great question. So really, we're seeing a lot of domestic buyers, more so than I have seen in many, many years in my 20 plus years of being in real estate. So you have a lot of buyers from New York, Chicago, California. We just did a sale with somebody from Arizona, which normally we don't get. So I'd say 55% are domestic buyers, and then we have, of course, our buyers that come from Latin America and Europe.
So one of the things I've seen recently where we see the sales are slowing, but the price keeps going up. How do you explain that?
Well, I think that we're still very reasonably priced as compared to many other markets, and I think that there's a lot of reasons why people find Miami so attractive. So I think our prices are still very, very good as compared to what they can be later. I think there's a lot of opportunity. Miami is still a very young city. Our project, 1428 Brickell in particular, you're looking at an average price per square foot of around $1,850, which is very good compared to some of our competitors for what you are getting here.
We know that Miami in the last 15 years has changed dramatically, and we are known around the world in a very positive way. So how does that affect foreign buyers? They want to come in, not just to 1428, but come down here and buy in the condos in the greater downtown area.
So ask the question one more time, because
What's causing people from overseas, whether it's in Europe or South America, all right, to say, I'm going to go to the greater downtown area and I'm going to buy a condo over there? What's causing them to find this good thing about Miami?
well, Brickell in particular that we are talking about right now, I think is very special because it's one of the most walkable neighborhoods in Miami. You have a great restaurant on every corner, cafes on every corner, shopping, businesses. We know that we have companies literally moving down here and bringing their flagship companies here to Miami and bringing their executives with them. So, there's many different reasons why people want to buy in Miami. And depending on where they're coming from, what's happening in their country, it's always been the same in that sense.
And yeah, maybe you don't want to live in a house anymore. You're looking into a different, more urban lifestyle that is fully catered, that the building has an incredible opportunity to service you from the moment you walk in. So it's almost like living in a hotel where you feel very catered and very private at the same time.
So tell us about some of the appointments in the condos, in the units.
Appointments? Some of
Refrigerators.
Oh, okay. So the units have appliances that are top of the line. So if you compare what we're offering versus other products, we have a company called Gagano, which is basically the best appliances in the market. And they're all handmade and they have a long history. So one of the reasons and one of the opportunities that we had is by not choosing a brand, by not investing in, for example, buying any brand, we grab the amount, which it could be between 5 and 10% of the cost of the development, and we put it back into things that really matter to the end user, which is giving you the best appliances. You're going to have an oven that you can do anything. You can have plumbing fixtures that are going to last 20 plus years because they're all handmade, and they have been doing them, they're Axor, they have been doing them for over 100 years. The stone and the quality of the materials that we're choosing are very, very, very high end. We're working directly with quarries and installing it, so we're pre-selecting the top of the line of what gets extracted from the quarry and discarding the rest. So we really are working together as a team with the best in the industry. That's why we work with Cervera, because they're the best at selling and explaining to you what the future of your home could be like.
And for the uninitiated, like myself, if somebody wanted a unit on the 15th to 20th floor, or 15th to 20th floor, you could show them what they could see from that point.
Yes, as far as views go,
Yes.
we can show them. And then we have a beautiful model apartment in our sales gallery that's gorgeous, that shows you exactly what your kitchen will look like and your master bathroom and the flooring that we're using. So you really get a good idea of the quality when you come to our sales gallery. I think we're also very lucky because when other developments talk about Italian finishes, a lot of the times they're being made in Doral. This building is truly designed by Italians and made by Italians. All of the...
Does anybody here speak Italian?
She does.
Oh, how about that?
She does. And our architects are Italians. They are Antonia Citerio and Patricia Veal, and they are not only the architects of the exterior, they are the interior designers. So they handpicked every single finish that is coming inside these residences.
And
So-
we went through a very large, extensive process in making that selection. So it's not just because they're Italian it's because they're really true experts in creating homes. And they are experts in designing products as well. So they design furniture, they understand the user, they understand comfort, they design kitchens, they understand, how do you live the everyday, the quotidianity of your daily living. And that gets expressed from the moment you walk in all the way to the top of the building. So it was a very deliberate decision into partnering with this particular architect because of their overall expertise in design.
So when the people come here and they're buying and looking, are they familiar with what it's like to live in the greater downtown area, or is this going to be a new experience for them?
Well, a lot of people are coming from other cities like Chicago and Manhattan and LA, and they're used to that type of living. We did one of our sales recently, which I'm sure Gia is very familiar with, somebody that did live in Chicago and then moved to Boca to a home and then found that to be too slow for them. They didn't want that type of living. So they sold that home in Boca and bought and are combining a beautiful penthouse together here. So they're making a home within our building. But in other words, of course, I'm sure they had a beautiful home in Boca, but they really liked the lifestyle that they would be living here, the energy, the urbanness that they wouldn't have in Boca.
And for the people that live in the suburbs like myself, I recently was on Brickell having brunch. Every mode of transportation was there. The kids on their skates, the moms with the carriages, the Uber, the little scooters, all right? And I was looking around, and it is very eclectic there versus you go out to Kendall or South Miami or Coral Gables, away from the downtown areas, and it's suburban living.
Yes.
So when somebody goes down there, they're going to have their eyes wide open when they do that. So in your family, they've been able to look forward 5 and 10 and 15 years. So tell us about what your vision and your family's vision about the other things that may happen with projects that you haven't announced yet, but tell us how this can continue to change your landscaping here.
Well, I really think that, they are just adding housing and we are adding benefits to different neighborhoods and different niches in these neighborhoods for everyone. I think that that's very important, that, you know, it's not just like right now, they just launched a project in Coral Gables that is, you know, a boutique building, not as luxurious, but you're looking at prices starting from 600,000. And I also think that there's a need for that type of, you know, price range as well. You know, everybody deserves to live in a beautiful home and newer homes and own their home. And we're starting to see some of these projects coming out in different price ranges and in different neighborhoods, and creating these different neighborhoods where everybody could come and move in.
Gee, one of the things we hear all the time, affordability, that's like the code word across the country, but in particular, we hear it. And when somebody asks you about affordability and of housing in Miami-Dade County, how do you respond to them?
So there's an incentive right now where if you are a developer, if you're looking to develop land, you can, if you have a lot that has a lower density, which means that you're able to develop, let's say, a 5-story building, but next to your lot or really close by, there are higher density, you are able to borrow the density of not necessarily your own lot, but a lot adjacent to you, and develop higher if a percentage of the development goes to workforce housing or more affordable housing. And that particular incentive from our government, it's fabulous, because it realizes that we have to really have a city, we need all kinds of options for people to live and really support. It can't be a city of only $60 million penthouses. We need diversity of housing. And we're doing as a city and as a government a really, really good job at creating that mix. There's also opportunities in developments where you don't have to offer parking, because we have great transportation through the Metro Mover or the Metro Rail, and the city's looking into even increasing that opportunity. So we continue to grow as a city. And you remember, Miami is a very young city. We're sometimes compare ourselves to a city like New York that is has many revolutions, or Chicago. We have so much opportunity to grow because we're very young, and we're doing it in a very conscious, smart way.
We know a lot of the big hedge funds have moved down here, and thank you, Mr. Griffiths, for donating hundreds of millions of dollars to hospitals and to schools. Recently donated $50 million to bring a school from New York down here to take care of all the young people. And we know that we are right on the edge of this being a magnificent city, and the reputation is being repaired pretty rapidly. Because when we see these people that are making lots of money moving their whole teams down here, that's really significant. On Biscayne, a little farther north, I think it's Mr. Griffith's place, or maybe it's another one. They're putting up this huge building. That's going to be their offices.
That's actually going to be 3 blocks where Ken Griffith Citadel is building his headquarters, and that's walking distance from our building. So that's what, from the residences at 1428 Brickell. So that's what I was referring to a little earlier, that we have these companies moving down here, and not only are they moving their name of the company here, but they're actually moving all of their, executives with them, and their whole companies are moving here.
Do people that live and they're going to live there, are they going to have cars, and are they going to park in the building, or do they not have cars and have chauffeurs? All kidding aside, I'm serious.
We tried to say that we're going that route, but I don't see that happening just yet. Most people have cars.
And tell us about the parking, how that works in your building.
It as of right now, it is all valet parking. You have a minimum of 2 parking spaces per residence, and depending on the size of your residence, you get more, but it is all valet. But we have 2 areas to drop your car off, and it will work very quickly.
Can you talk about any other developments that Cervera may be involved with in the next 6 months to a year? Only public stuff, please.
Yes, I was going to say only public stuff, because we do have some things under wraps that are coming to different areas, not necessarily even in Miami. But we really, right now, I believe we have 13 projects going on at the same time. And then, of course, we have our whole general real estate division. So if somebody wanted to buy or sell a house, we do that too. So we, are really multifaceted in that sense.
50 years here in Miami. developed a lot of properties, sold a lot of property. It's really amazing as I was looking up this information, extraordinary. And certainly one of the top real estate families, maybe top families in Miami-Dade County. So my hat's off to your family.
Thank you very
and for the
much.
matriarch and the patriarch.
It's
God bless them.
woman-owned, so it's
Yes.
super exciting.
It is.
So, Gia, let's look down the road. Tell us what you'd like to design.
I would like to continue to do high rises. I think we have the opportunity to really change the landscape of our city. We are working on 1428, which is really something that as a team we're all very proud of being working on. It takes a tremendous amount of effort from many players, from the architect, interior designer, the sales team, the team that runs the sales gallery, the marketing, the business development, the lender, the engineers. It's a huge team of over, I don't even know, more than 100 people to really bring that home in the sky to life. And when we did it, we said, wow, we did a really good job. We're so proud of what we're doing. But at the same time, we were thinking, my gosh, we put the bar for ourselves really high. What do we do now? Like, how do we not come down from the bar that we did? So our next development that it's coming up soon, next year, we are very proud to say that we actually have raised the bar, which is something that I'm very exciting. We are looking into really changing the skyline in our city, and collectively as Miami developers and as residents of our spectacular city, bring up the quality so we can say Miami's just as amazing as New York and Chicago. Come live here. You have everything you need. And amazing weather, which they don't.
She could do a commercial for us. Now, for the boy toys for me are when after the rebar was in, before the concrete went in, and it's just sitting there. I haven't seen it, but I understand the process. What was it like when the concrete trucks were there? Must have been a day or two to pour the concrete. What was it like for you when you see these trucks, they're all lined up, dumping all that concrete in?
Well, I happened to actually be there because for me it was very exciting to have that happen. And coincidentally, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and she had gone to a concert, and I had to pick her up, and her friend lived in that neighborhood. So I said, okay, I came to pick you up at this time, 11 p.m. at nighttime. Now you're going to do me a favor. So her and I drove to the site, and I actually got video of all of these concrete trucks coming in. There was more than, well, you could say how many trucks there were, but I believe it was for 33 uninterrupted hours of concrete being poured. We had one of the largest concrete pours in Miami.
And how deep was that hole that they put all that concrete in?
Oh, I don't. It's at least like 2 stories. It's like 20
I think
plus
like
feet.
yeah.
I mean, the mat is really thick. So it's almost like you have a really high building that sits on a thick piece of concrete, and below that there's like, almost like if you imagine spaghetti lines of piles that go all the way down 350 plus feet to bedrock. So when the exciting part about that is, first you're doing the piles that no one sees. So everybody's like, what's happening? But you're doing really a lot of work that is underground that you don't see. So the pour of the mat, which is the thick piece of concrete that we call the mat, it's a very big milestone because it's when you're coming off the ground. And it's really exciting when you see, 3 days straight of concrete trucks coming in, and the guys at the field holding the hoses and moving them manually to make sure that there's no patches of dryness. You also have to control the temperature to make sure that the hydration of the concrete doesn't go super high, and then it cures quicker, and then you have differential temperatures. So it's a very technical process, but at the same time, it's super exciting from a milestone of the team.
So we're about ready to wrap it up. When your customers call you, do they tell you how they became aware of the project?
That's a good question. How did they become aware of the project? Yeah, I mean, usually it's with our marketing or word of mouth or their real estate agent or walking by, they see the site. But there's, many different reasons, many different ways.
And people can go to 1428 Brickell, is that .com? Or they can just find it under 1428 Brickell, and they can see all about it.
Yes, they can
Yes.
see all about it at the website, or they can call me.
They should
A
go to the
referral
sales
would be
gallery.
good too, all right?
Yeah, go to the sales gallery and ask for Jen.
There-
Yes.
Right. Thanks so much for being here, Jennifer.
No, thank you for
Appreciate it.
having us, Michael. I
Okay.
really appreciate it.
And congratulations to you on all your accomplishments, young lady.
Thank you.
And we're going to look into, what camera can we look into? That camera right over there is sort of hard to see. First of all, thank you for joining us. That's number one. Number two, my brother Grant and I subscribe to the Disney rule, which is when you hug someone, don't stop until they do. Thanks for joining us again. Have a good day.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.